the chat room. Speaking of meeting guardrails, Zachary Whitfield has joined the chat. I don't know if Zachary's been a part of it before. Big USC fan, and of course he's incited. Chris is a Pitt fan, so that's not good. That's no. But I mean, Texas Boyle, Markel, Biscuits and Gravy, and others. Lee Buttercup. Man, there's some going on right now. Some conversation. That's a whole new world right
I'd like
there.
to give Chris a lesson I learned when I was very young, and the Red Sox would, before they started winning World Series in 2004, and the Red Sox would constantly lose free agents to other teams. And then a lot of times, like, for example, Wade Boggs, who, when I was young, I thought could do no wrong. And then when the Red Sox didn't re-sign him, he went to the Yankees, and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was actually, like, at 12-year-old or 14-year-old Paul was like, well, that's going to kill me. That's it. Wade Boggs is gone. And, eventually it all comes around. So don't get attached. Think of them as foster pets.
Especially don't get attached nowadays. I mean, why? I mean, the quarterback whose jersey you can buy now, which is great, that's long overdue. But, I mean, that dude might be pretty good for you for a year, so enjoy that. But then he's out the door to, the bigger school that calls him next. And that's what's, I think, the hard pill to swallow for college football fans, and somebody who's a Pitt fan. I mean, yeah, it's the name of the game. It's all fair and whatnot, but that's hard as a fan, like if you had a great playoff run and you had a quarterback that was under contract, you thought, for 3 years, and I know it's different because they don't have contracts, which is why they're probably going to have contracts, which then turns into a union, and it just spirals into something completely different. But, in the NFL, at least your guys are going to be there. Unless they pop a drug test or, kill somebody or do something stupid, they're going to be there. And they're going to be there for the length of their contract. And yes, there can be situations where a guy lets it be known that he wants out. And sometimes he is traded and sometimes he's not. It all just depends on the money and how it all works out. And so, at least you have that. You know what the future looks like. I think the fact that you can't even really get too excited or behind a guy because he's having too good of a year. Like, he's going to be gone soon. I just think that sucks, man. Like, how is that fun? But, it's part of the deal.
College athletics used to be where you could go all in with somebody for 4 or 5 years. Basketball different because they, sometimes back in the day, you didn't have to go to play college basketball. That's changed. But in basketball, you got to have a one and done. It's been that way for a long, long time. Football, you pretty much were able to grab onto somebody for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
and now you just.
But in basketball, then it was you had a guy who might be a one and done. He's a one and done. He's gone to the NBA.
Like Kevin Durant.
This is you have a guy who's got one and done talent. He has a really good year, and then he goes to Kentucky for $4 million.
I know.
That's what I'm saying is that it's just, typically if a guy had a really good year and he had the debate between the NBA and coming back, well, hey, I'm excited. Like Matthew Meyer, what's he going to do? If that was just a straight-up situation, what's he going to do? Well, you didn't have option C. He transfers to Texas in the mix several years ago, but now he freely could. And I'm not saying that part's bad. I'm saying from the fan standpoint, that just from the fan standpoint, it's hard to probably get as invested in a player because you just don't know what the future even holds.
Other than Jordan Addison and the emotions we've heard or seen from Pitt fans or others about what's going on with that, the emotion that to me has been the deepest and most triggered was Kevin McCullough when he decided to put up 2 teams. Gonzaga would not have triggered Texas Tech fans. But when the logo is Kansas, it triggered Texas Tech fans. I mean, that's become, obviously, last year they had unbelievable games against each other. Both of them were fantastic. Matthew Meyer, when the thread about him entering the transfer portal or wanting to test the waters again with the NBA, that was fine. And then when there were a couple of things brought up about maybe going to North Carolina, even then there was, I'm just saying some of the chatter. Then all of a sudden you heard Kansas in the mix, and people started saying, I hope he breaks his leg. Which is, again, the stupid, dumbest. You love when transfers come your way. You hate it when they're going to somebody else. It's like, well, you can't do that in-house. You shouldn't be able to. Don't put up a rival. Hey, that's all off the table now, man.
Yeah, dudes are playing for Georgia and Alabama or Ohio State and Alabama like Jamison Williams.
Here's my point, though. You don't want Kevin McCullough going to Kansas. That's a rival, right? But it's okay when part of your football staff comes from an in-conference team. You didn't care about it then. And vice versa, not just Tech, it's everybody. Everybody's like that. We got to come back. Craig's off the radar. We'll be around the corner. Anything else we need to hit now?
No.
Okay. When we come back, Craig Smoak and Off the Radar, Sikkim, 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Don Chimador and Coffee.